June. June has officially entered the chat. Whew. And honestly, this month really feels like the moment where all of this experimenting, all of this messing around, all of the what happens if I try this energy from April, and all of the pattern recognition and relationship awareness that we got from May kind of clicks into place and sharpens into precision. Whew. So are you ready for it? I'm so excited to do this June energy forecast because June will move quickly. And I know that it is a huge energetic advantage to have this information ahead of time. So when things do move quickly, you already have your decision. You already know, so you can move just as quickly. So before we get into the forecast, let's just recap. Remember, April was let's fuck around. And then May was like, okay, now we're finding out. And if I were to put June into a very short sentence or a mantra or something that I want you to remember, it would be this: shoot your shot. I keep seeing this image of a bullseye. Not chaos, not spraying energy everywhere, not throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping a noodle sticks, right? This month, this energy is all about precision, specificity, intentionality, and trust. And this is because June carries the energy of the 7. So what we're going to do in today's episode is jam about this energy, what it means for the universal energy, this energetic weather that we're all feeling. And then I want to bring it into action. Some themes, some questions that I really want you to consider to put into practice as we enter this month. Okay, so if we go back to the 7, we get this energy, we get this number by adding the year plus the month. So 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6 equals 16. 1 plus 6 equals 7. Before we get to the 7, I just want to say this. Look at all the 2s and 6s in here, right? So much relationship energy, so much emotional intelligence, so much intuition, a lot of awareness around support, belonging, discernment, connection, and all of those underlying energies funnel into the 7. So I'm not throwing shade, but that's why you cannot listen, or I don't want you to hear all of this energy about what the 7 means and these recycled energies of the 7. Because the 7 energy in June 2026 is different than the last 7 energy we had and will be different than the next 7 energy we have because of these underlying energies, because it is a composite of the 2s, the 6s, the 0s, and the 1. Very, very different. All of these energies funnel into the 7, which is action. But let me actually be more specific here. Not random action, not action for the sake of experimenting. That was so April. So 2025. No, it's all about aligned action. So if we place the 7 on the numerological grid, that tic-tac-toe board, where each of the 9 numbers has its own home base, the home base of the 7 is on the right side of the grid, which is the masculine side, and it is on the bottom row, which is a physical energy. And this is very important because I think there is a myth or a misconception that the 7 is spiritual. It is, but it's not spiritual in a passive way. It's not like, I'm just going to sit under this tree and meditate and wait for divine clarity. No, the 7 is embodied spirituality. The kind where you move, where you decide, where you act, where you trust yourself enough to take the next step before you know the entire staircase. And the shape of the number 7 itself tells you the entire story about the month. So let's just think about the shape. Just feel this number 7 in your mind. You climb up the bottom part of the 7 first. Just looks like a straight up ladder. It's very steady, very linear, very logical, very grounded. You know where you're going. And then suddenly, boom, sharp left-hand turn, right? A directional shift. A point where the path no longer feels obvious. And that point, The point in that 7, that corner of the 7, that's the decision point. That's the trust point. That's the moment where life says, all right, are we doing this or not? And so many people get to that point and they go back down the way they came. They stay in the familiar. They stay in the comfortable. But it feels like they're still taking action, but they're just going up and down the one side. Whereas this month is really going to ask you to take that left-hand turn, right? It's going to feel maybe like you're standing on the edge of a diving board, like that moment before you swing in softball. We'll get more of that in a second. The moment before you hit send on the email. The moment before you say, hey, I want this. What's really fascinating here, and what I really love about the number 7, love-hate, I guess I should say, is that the 7 doesn't actually care if you feel fully ready. It just cares if you are willing. And so this is where I keep hearing, shoot your shot. Shoot your shot. And maybe it's because I'm coaching softball right now and it feels like this is my whole world, but this energy is so coded in this. And if you know nothing about softball or baseball, don't worry. This metaphor will still work for you. Okay. Good hitters do not swing at everything. They don't swing at every pitch. That's rookie energy, as I tell my girls. Good hitters know their strike zone. They know their sweet spot. They see a pitch and they're like, that pitch, not mine. I love it. Whenever a pitch comes in and it's a strike, but someone didn't swing, my girls yell, chips and salsa, nacho pitch, nacho pitch. There is literally a cheer for everything in softball. Okay, but I will not tell you every cheer. I digress. Then they're going to see a pitch, be like, oh, that one, too high. That pitch, in the dirt. Balls in the dirt, balls in the dirt. We can make it work. We can make it work. Okay, no more cheers. And then a pitch comes in and they're like, yes, that's mine. But here's the thing that's fascinating. The girls will ask me all the time, Coach Jessica, was that a strike or is that a strike? And my answer is almost always, well, it depends. And by the way, they hate that answer. But it's true, because a strike is not objective. And this is what I want you to hear. Neither is an opportunity. There is no such thing as a good opportunity or a bad opportunity. It is very personal and subjective. And I'll explain it this way. I have girls on my team who are practically my height. And then I have my youngest daughter who's 4 foot nothing. And their strike zones are completely different. What is a strike for one kid is way low or high or outside for another, right? And then you add in all these variables, different pitchers, different speeds, different umpires, different weather, different pressure. Is there 1 out? Is there 2 outs? Different nervous systems, different skill levels. So when someone asks me, is that a strike? The real answer is, well, for who? That feels important. So if you're asking, well, Jess, is this a good opportunity? For who? I think so many people spend so much time trying to decide or determine if something is universally good or correct, or if this is the opportunity, instead of asking, is this for me? Because some opportunities are strikes for other people, and they are not your pitch. Not your pitch. Not your pitch, right? Some relationships are someone else's dream and your nervous system's nightmare. Some business models work beautifully for someone else and completely drain your life force. Some rooms feel so expansive for one person, while at the same time suffocating for another. And June is the month where we stop outsourcing our discernment. And it has to be in the moment. Because here's the thing. You don't know before the pitch leaves the hand of the pitcher whether you're swinging. You don't. You can't fully analyze life from the dugout. You have to step into the batter's box. You have to feel the timing. You have to read the movement. You have to trust your body, trust your instinct, trust your practice, trust your reps. And only you can decide in that moment, is that my pitch? And you can't listen to anybody else. Self-trust matters so much this month because opportunities are not objective. Alignment is relational. And so again, Stop asking, is this the right opportunity? And start asking, is this my shot? And so even if April and May, you've been trying to swing at pitches, right? To see, to experiment, that was the energy. If you were doing that, if you were following along to my forecast, you knew that's what we were supposed to do. So that in June, we get precise, we get discerning. And the other discernment that I really want you to pay attention to this month is whose advice you are listening to. Because again, I promise this whole episode will not be about softball, but one thing I've really noticed, and honestly, this is in life and business in general, is that every person has an opinion from the sidelines. Everybody. The parents in the stands, the people who've never stepped into a batter's box in their life, the people who've never built the business, never launched the thing, never risked being seen, never put themselves out there. And yet somehow they always know exactly what you should do. Interesting. So this month especially, I would be very mindful about taking advice from people who are not in the arena. People who have never taken the shot themselves will almost always over-prioritize safety, air quotes. Because when you are not the person swinging, you can theorize forever. But the people actually in the game, they understand timing, pressure, instinct, momentum, nerves, failure, recovery, right? They understand that sometimes you do everything right and still miss. And then sometimes you can take a half-hearted swing and somehow hit a home run, right? Or in the case of the last game, we had a girl in the outfield close her eyes and catch a fly ball. That's life, right? That's the 7. And June will expose where some people have outsourced their self-trust to consensus, right? Well, everyone thinks. Okay, listen, I don't care what everyone thinks. What do you think? Because if you ask 10 people in the stands whether you should bunt, swing, steal, pivot, launch, leave, stay, you're going to get 10 different answers. And the only person who can feel the timing is the person holding the bat, taking the swing. So this month is so deeply about reclaiming that relationship with yourself. This is where trust becomes everything. And this brings in this whole chicken and the egg concept of what comes first. Trusting yourself to make decisions or making decisions so that you get evidence to trust yourself. And my answer is both, right? Because confidence is not built in theory. Confidence is built in reps. Right? Again, just think when we're little and learning to walk, we don't demand certainty. Well, before I attempt this, I'd really like some guarantee that I'm going to be able to walk across the whole floor. No. We fell, we adjusted, we recalibrated, we tried again, and eventually our bodies learned, oh, this is what it feels like to walk. That's June. Your nervous system literally learning through motion, not through overthinking. Because overthinking is going to be such a trap this month. The 7 can become hyper mental when disempowered, right? It can get stuck at that point, right? That's where you lose momentum. When you have to make a hard left-hand turn, nothing's just going to make you do it. You have to create this momentum. And so a lot of times that decision point there is where people get stuck in, well, what if? Well, what if I choose wrong? What if I fail? What if I look stupid? What if this changes, right? The worst question, the question that most people get stuck on in the 7 is how. I'm going to come back to that one in a second. But in the empowered side, that 7 answers you and says, yeah, it might, and we're still going to go. That's still courage. Courage is not absence of fear. It's movement with fear. And the reason that this number 7 carries so much significance across all cultures, it's because it represents this bridge. It represents this bridge between the physical and the mystical, the known and the unknown. And I mean, this is so apparent in the way the 7 often appears, right? We got different religions, different cultures, 7 days of creation, 7 chakras, 7 colors in the rainbow, 7 seas, 7 continents. When Buddha was born, he took 7 steps. In Cherokee mythology, the first animals stayed awake for 7 nights. Even our brains can hold around 7 items in our short-term memory. That's how you can remember, well, that's how I can remember my best friend's phone number from when we were little, 226 well, I won't do that to you. I won't tell you a phone number, but I will never forget that. 7 digits. And the one I love the best, well, maybe just in this moment, is the 7 musical notes. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Back to the beginning. Do. With only 7 notes, humans have created infinite songs. Isn't that unbelievable? Infinite expression from just 7 frequencies. That's a strong message for June also. You do not need infinite options. You need mastery of what already is in front of you. Precision, willingness. And I hope this month that you are going to realize, if you haven't already, how you actually know far more than what you've been giving yourself credit for. You don't need to learn more or do more. I'm just going to say this with love. You just need to stop avoiding the decision point. Because the other interesting thing about the 7 is it repeats. The 7 repeats. You think about, again, that shape of the 7. It keeps poking your side. The same lesson in a different costume. The same relationship dynamic, different person. The same business problem, different launch. The same feeling of exhaustion, just a different week. The same opportunity knocking again and again and again. Like this universe standing outside your house with this big boom box. Basically, it's like that song on repeat. Hello, we're going to do this lesson until you learn it. But here's the thing. We cannot just learn a lesson in our mind. I think that's where a lot of people might get stuck. Yeah, logically, I get it. But the 7 reminder is a physical masculine energy. It requires embodiment, right? And so there is something about bringing your whole body into it when it comes to lessons. And I'm just laughing of like looking down at myself. I'm already doing this. I'm already feeling this energy for June. So I'm recording this. You can't see me, but I'm on a place called Riverside where it's recording my face also. And on Zoom Room, you just think about dressing from the waist up. Like, well, it only matters what I'm wearing on the top because that's all people can see. But for the last little while, I've been choosing to wear pants, obviously, but put on full outfits. The 7 requires embodiment. It's not just what people can see. I'm not just choosing to dress what people can see. I'm choosing to dress my whole body because it affects how I feel. And I think that's a really important lesson of embodiment this week that you just can't overlook. And a lot of times when things repeat or when similar things happen to us, I think some people might call that bad luck. And this month we have to redefine what luck means because the 7 is also always associated with luck, right? Lucky number 7, slot machines, jackpots, winning streaks, right? But luck, I feel, is one of the most misunderstood energies ever because what some people call luck is, of course, what I call preparation meeting opportunity. People can see someone hit the bullseye and say, oh, wow, lucky. But what they didn't see were the thousands of misses, the practice, the heartbreak, the recalibration, the courage, the moments that they almost quit, right? And so this month, it might look lucky for some people. But if you zoom out, you will realize that they've been preparing for this moment for years, right? It's like there's more than just this moment. The same thing about poker. You all know I play a lot of poker. People think poker is gambling, but actually really good poker players know it's emotional regulation, it's probability, it's discernment, it's reading patterns, it's timing, it's knowing when to go all in, right? There is more than meets the eye. And if we actually look at the word luck, you know, I'm a big sucker for language, luck actually equals the energy of 2. Right? L is 3, U is 3, C is 3, K is 2, creates the 11 and brings it into the 2. So luck is actually the energy of intuitive partnership, of alignment, of awareness, of responsiveness. Luck is not passive. Luck favors movement. It's like a mirroring, like your action creates the mirror. When you are prepared and the opportunity comes, it's in that moment, right, where luck blooms and blossoms. And I think that's why people who never enter the arena or never play the game they rarely experience luck. They're always down on their luck, or they're always feeling unlucky. Because here's the thing. Luck requires interaction. You bought the ticket, you started the conversation, you took the swing, you launched the thing, you walked into the room. And people are going to say, wow, you're so lucky. No! What they missed was the willingness to participate before certainty existed. I'm going to say that again. You must be willing to participate before certainty exists. This other big theme that I keep on getting is specificity is the strategy. Specificity is the strategy. It's not vague manifestation. I hate that word anyway. Materialization even. It's not, I just want more abundance. Okay, what does that mean? More clients, more freedom, more time, more support, more intimacy, whatever that is. Bullseye energy. You have to name it. You have to claim it. Because if you aim for that center of the bullseye, even if you miss slightly, you're still going to land on the board. If you vaguely aim, somewhere over there, you're going to miss completely, right? So this month is going to truly ask you, okay, remember, you've experimented in April. You found out a lot in May. Okay, so now you should know, what do you actually want? What do you want? And are you willing to admit it? Because that's the other thing about the 7. It exposes where we have been hiding behind the uncertainty, right? And uncertainty, many times people use it as protection. Well, if I never fully choose, I never fully fail, right? And I've shared this story before. The kid who doesn't swing, because if they swing and they strike out, it's their fault. But if the umpire calls them a strike, they're kind of absolving themselves of that responsibility. No. So if you are saying, if I never fully choose, I never fully fail, what you are also saying is, I also never fully live. And this is the crossroads energy of June. Choose. Choose your shot. Choose the direction. Choose the standard. Choose the room. Choose the relationship. Choose the version of yourself that you are no longer willing to negotiate with. You have to choose. When we're choosing, so many questions come up. And this kind of cycle started going in my head during the meditation, which was who, what, when, where, why, and how. Which sounds, I get it, very elementary school journalism class. But I think stay with me here because this feels really closely aligned to June. I've really started to notice once this pattern kind of came in my brain that most people have a default question. A question that they always go to first. So I want you to think about that for a moment before I start to jam on this. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. When you're making a decision, when you're at a decision point, what question do you typically start with? So some people, if they start with who, like who can help me, who's involved, who's in the room, whatever. Other people might start with what? Well, what's the opportunity? What's the plan? What's the outcome? Others start with when, right? When is the right moment? When will I know? Again, where? Like where does this fit? Where is this leading? Why? Purpose-driven people who need emotional resonance before moving. Why me? Why now? And then there's the how. And how is really fascinating to me, again, from a language perspective, because it's the outlier. It's the only word of those questions that doesn't start with a W, which energetically immediately tells me, well, it functions differently. And I was going to say I think, but I actually know that how is where people get trapped. Because how often becomes the barricade between intuition and movement. You can feel the shot. You can know the direction. You can know what you want. But then the mind jumps in and says, okay, but how? And yes, the how, of course, sometimes matters, but not always first. In fact, probably never first, right? So I think one of the biggest energetic shifts of June is realizing that your starting question reveals your natural orientation to life. It's your default lens, your decision-making style, your trust pattern. And so this month, I really encourage you to notice, which question do you ask first when making a decision? Which question are you avoiding? Because again, sometimes the people obsessed with why avoid the what. The people obsessed with who do so because they don't want to stand alone. If you're obsessed with when, you can delay forever. if you're focused on the what, you can bypass your emotion entirely, right? So June is not asking you to answer every question perfectly before moving. It's just asking you to notice which question has been running your decisions and which questions you've been avoiding. If we think about the 7 and why most kids choose 7 as that jersey number, why they're so attracted to that physical masculine energy, is because it has this inherent energy of risk. And there is that tightrope on the top of the 7, which is the fine line between risk and reckless, right? So in the empowered side of the 7, it's brave, trusting, innovative, embodied, willing to lead, willing to move first, willing to show others what's possible. But the disempowered side of the 7, just that slight over the edge here, is impulsive, reckless, impatient, or on the other side, needing the guarantee before the movement. And so again, kind of what we talked about is the biggest medicine this month is truly realizing clarity is not found from the sidelines. You learn the shot by taking the shot. You learn timing by swinging. You learn trust by embodying your own decision. And so this month is this massive energetic initiation into self-trust. And you can't borrow it. Right? Not, well, if they validate me, then I'll move. If someone else tells me it's a good idea, then I'll know. No. It's, can you hear yourself clearly enough to act before the applause? And so this month, I feel, is going to be a huge month for business pivots, relationship clarity, creative risks, visibility, embodiment. But again, only for the people willing to participate, because it is not passive. I feel, looking back, if we go ahead in the year, if we look back on this month, I think a lot of people will see where this is the month where a lot of things changed. Not because they were lucky, although it might feel like it, not because the universe magically handed them something, but because they stopped standing, waiting for perfect certainty, and they took the shot. So, as we head into June, I want you to ask yourself, get ready to write these questions down, or just hear them in your mind. What is the shot that I already know I need to take? Where have I been pretending that I need more clarity when really I just need to embrace my courage? What keeps repeating, not because I'm unlucky, but because I haven't actually made the decision yet? And where in my life am I being asked to trust myself more? Because reminder, June, again, is not asking you to swing at everything. It is asking you to trust yourself enough to swing at the quote unquote right thing. Your strike, your pitch, the one that you can't wait to hit. And you're not focused on where it goes. You're focused on meeting it and taking your shot. If you want some deeper support moving through this energy, my June calendar is available now. So if you haven't yet experienced the calendar, it breaks down the energetic themes of every single day. It gives you a month ahead full forecast so you can see the patterns, and then it goes directly into day by day, the opportunities, the shadows, the best ways to work with the energy. It gives you journal prompts, activations, there's a guided visualization. It's such a powerful tool, but especially during this month when precision truly matters. You get your first month free, so we'll put it in the show notes. You can experience it for June. And then also, super excited, my Q3 forecast is officially open. So if you like or love these monthly energetic forecasts, you want to come to my Q3 forecast. This is where I break down the next quarter. So July, August, and September, and we go deep. It's a full immersive experience. It's not just me talking to you in your ear. It's you coming with questions. You get a workbook. We do a guided visualization together. I give you the themes. I ask you questions. We get some personal insight. Q3 is big. This new energetic landscape, right? Where it's going to be the bridge, the 891, right? And this massive recalibration about what we are available for. And I'm calling this Q3 forecast the season of light. And again, we're going to put that in the show notes. It's a really great way to feel confident as we head into this next quarter and don't tell them I told you, but there's a special opportunity to add on a one-on-one session at a very discounted rate if you join the Q3 forecast. Psst. Okay, so that will be in the show notes. June will be the shot. If you shoot your shot, Q3 is going to be the trajectory that follows it. So I definitely want to help you after you swing and after you hit. I want to help you navigate the bases. I want to help you get all the way home. Oh my gosh. Ending, of course, on a softball analogy. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being brave and trusting yourself, trusting this intuitive hit to know that energetic advantages are here and we need to harness them. Shoot your shot. Swing the bat. Get in the game. June is a beautiful month. I'm going to start crying. I feel this so strongly. June is the month for you to get all it is that you want. You have to be willing to get in that batter's box. You have to be willing to swing the bat. You have to be willing to get precise, to be strategic, to be specific. You have to be willing. If you are willing, preparation meets opportunity, and this month will feel lucky. Full sevens across that slot machine. And if you've never had that feeling of getting full sevens across the slot machine, get ready, my friends, because I have, and it is a good one. Thank you for being here. Happy June, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.